Everywhere you look, everyone's saying the same thing. Vibe code this, vibe code that. Tell AI what you want and it'll build it for you. You don't know how to code, doesn't matter. You just talk and it builds whatever you want. Really? So here I am, 350 miles away, about to onboard someone into my disconnected system. I know it's a mess, and I knew before I could actually hire someone, I needed to take the time to actually fix everything before I could bring someone in. So I went looking. I spent months, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while, watching videos, reading reviews, testing platforms, researching, anything I could find about construction, service business space. I took a look at it. BuilderTrend, Zoho, Bubble, Supabase, you name them, I took a look at all of them. Anything that you could vibe code, anything that was out of the box. And it was the same thing when it came to out of the box, nothing really new, maybe a new integration here or there. And then when it came to the vibe coding stuff, I was disappointed very quickly. I don't know what I'm looking at. I got all these lines of code and this database structure. I'm not a tech guy, I'm just an operator, and man, I was like lost. My fear was, what if I build this app, vibe code, or whatever, however I built it? What if I built this vibe coded app? What am I gonna do when something breaks? And then it hit me. A friend of mine said, hey Tom, did you know I just ran into this guy who fixes apps that are vibe coded? I'm thinking to myself, what a great business model, because you know that things aren't gonna work. So I tried it all, did a bunch of exploring, watched a bunch of tutorials, and wasted a bunch of time. And I just felt really disappointed, bummed, and overwhelmed because I knew I needed help. So I started talking to some friends. I was preparing my business partner to say, hey, we need to invest some real money, $10,000, $20,000 if we had to, into building an application, because the reality of what's out there really isn't true. And we need something that can run the business without our daily intervention. So I was ready to have someone build something for me. We were talking about custom versus open source. And then something hit me, and I wasn't expecting it. A friend asked me a simple question. Have you looked into Google Workspace? I said, Google Workspace? So I went to Google, I opened it up, and my mind was blown. I couldn't believe it. That was the solution I've been looking the whole time, and I missed it. I was trying to find these tools that would fit with my broken system, where what I needed to do was I just needed to simplify my business before I implemented anything. And then it hit me. I already know Airtable. It's gone a lot better since I started my business in 2018. They've made some improvements in their interfaces. With the help of AI, I'm sure I can build out better views and have it help me build some basic scripting and more comprehensive formulas. And my business had changed. So half of my problem was I just wasn't using what I had to the best of its ability. I created complexity and I kept building and building instead of taking a step back and saying, hey, let's slow down, let's simplify things, let's see where we can streamline everything. So that's what I decided to do. I said, worst case, that would save me money, that would save time by cleaning things up first. So that's what I did. I don't know how to vibe code. I don't know how to build an app, but I know how to architect a business. I know what needs to happen, in what order, for what reason. That was enough. You don't need to code. You just need to think clearly about what your business actually needs. That's my strength. I know what my business needs to do step by step. I know how information needs to flow. I know what has to be predictable and what can be flexible. That's not coding, that's just thinking. And everyone skips the thinking. We want to just get the problem solved right away with the least amount of effort. All these things I had in my head that I wanted to implement that were nice to have, like what's the critical thing that has to happen in my business predictably every single time? So before I picked up a single tool, before I picked up Airtable, Google, any of it, I sat down with pen and paper, and I literally have it right here where I just drafted out, where does my business start? Where does it end? What are all of these things that I want to have happen? What's critical? What is just that shiny object that I'm chasing? And that afternoon saved me so much time, and I spent the next week or two really just marinating and thinking about how can my business be more simple. I started Google Workspace, 14 bucks a month per employee, email, calendar, drive, docs, sheets, chat, video, transcription, Gemini, all in one. That was one login, all connected, way cheaper than everything else that I currently had in my system. Airtable, now the single source of truth, everything in my business fully connected in one place. And here is what really blew me away. The 10X wasn't AI. It wasn't some fancy tool. It wasn't vibe code. It was the basic things that were already built into Airtable and Google. Native integrations, native capabilities, things just sitting right there that didn't require me to build out anything. That alone was a massive transformation, a better foundation, a better process, tools that talk to each other. So I realized really quickly, I am definitely not gonna need to spend $10,000, $20,000 on a developer. In fact, I don't need a developer. I don't need to learn how to code. My database is solid. And think about it, any tool that's worth its weight in 2026, if it doesn't integrate with Airtable and Google, come on. If it doesn't, that tells you a lot about the tool and not about you. Stuff that's just ready for you to use. The foundation was the win. Everything else was a bonus. It reminds me of the man who built his house on a solid rock versus the sinking sand. Everyone out here is building on sinking sand. There's a new tool every week, every day, shiny objects. There's no foundation underneath any of it. I built on a solid rock, simple, proven, connected. The AI layer, that came after. And because the foundation was solid, AI was a bonus and was so easy to implement. Not a crutch, not a lifeline, literally a bonus. If your foundation is broken, AI is only gonna make it a mess fast. Now, I just implemented this a few months ago. I'm still in it. Team's still learning, team's still adapting. Hard to move from Outlook to Google, from Zoom to Meet, from WhatsApp to chat, all of these things. It takes time, right? Lessons are fresh. I don't vibe code, I vibe build. That's what I'm calling it. I vibe build with CoWork. Python scripts, reports, AI helping me to execute what I've already architected. That's the lane that I'm gonna stick in. Once I unlocked my own fears and saw that what was out there and the rate I is improving, this is the future. And you don't need to know how to code to be part of it. Next video, I'm gonna show you the 5 steps that I believe every single service business runs. Same as mine, same as yours. And once you see it, you'll know exactly where you need to start building. So stay tuned to the next video. I'm just getting started.